In the first half of December, the losses of Russian occupation troops amounted to almost 15,000, which is comparable to the pace and volume of losses in November, when an absolute record of 28,550 enemy personnel losses was set. At the same time, the losses in equipment, tanks, armored fighting vehicles and artillery are decreasing. In terms of tank losses, the peak was October, the height of the Avdiivka offensive, while in November the losses decreased by 40%. The reduction in tank losses of the Russian forces, compared to November, may be 10 to 20%. And this is not because they have become more effective in using the mechanized component, no. But because since November it is the infantry component that has become the main component of Russian troops in assault operations. As for equipment, they are trying to put it on the battlefield less now, stockpiling it for attempts at more powerful breakthroughs. In the area of Avdiivka, for example. This all leads to the fact that the increase in enemy losses in the near future will be invariably high, and December may well become a record in terms of the number of destroyed occupants. Meanwhile, Russian troops have decided to force the Oskil River north of Kupinsk. Not being able to reach the left bank of the Oskil River, and the apparent slowdown of the offensive in the area of Sinkiivka, the Russian command will attempt to force the water barrier in an unexpected place, in the direction of Kamianka. Currently, the enemy is in the process of accumulating resources in the area of temporarily occupied Pisky, Topoli and Liman Drugi in Kharkiv region, on the left bank of the Oskil River. The direction of the strike, more than obviously, will be the villages of Topoli and Kamianka, on the right bank. But what is most worrisome is the transfer of TOS-1 heavy flamethrower system to the above-mentioned location, which will have to ensure the success of the operation. Well, or to replenish the composition of the destroyed equipment of this type, which is already all gold, especially with the problems of supplying the troops with problematic TOS-2. Actually, the command of the Russian troops will try to reach the right bank by forcing the Oskil north of Kupiansk. However, given the failures of the Russian forces to force the water barriers during 2022 and 2023, I have my doubts about the success of this idea. Although the TOS-1 heavy flamethrower system is still a concern, there is also a high risk of increased firepower through aviation, using guided bombs. I do not exclude that at the moment of forcing, guided bombs will be predominantly focused on this location.